Hello, everyone, and welcome to On the Rise with Miss Phoenix. I'm your host, Miss Phoenix. Here is where we have everyday people talking about their experiences, their journey, here to encourage you, to inspire you, all to become a better version of you. Tonight, I am so excited for my guest. My guest I have is Rhonda Curry. She is such a beautiful woman. She's a mother. She's a wife. She's an author. She has a podcast. She has a lot of stuff going on. But I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about herself, and then we'll get to know her even more. Rhonda, can you tell us about yourself?
Yes, first, thank you for having me. I appreciate the invitation and this opportunity just to talk to you. Oh, introducing myself, I would say that I am first a woman of faith. I like to say, like, I am God's daughter. That's the way I approach kind of life each day.
Mm-hmm.
He has allowed me to be mom to two amazing young ladies, been married to my husband for coming up on 31 years this year.
Ooh.
Um, we serve in ministry together, and outside of that, I am also an entrepreneur, kind of trying to build two businesses at the same time. Dare to Be, which I know we'll talk more about. I am also leaning into photography, which is something that I do as well. And I just feel really called and committed to working with women and teenage girls in so many different capacities just to help them like live the life that they were created to live. And so that shows up for me in so many different ways in my
Okay.
life, but it just feels like what I'm called to do.
You said something. I like what you said. You said you just feel like you are called to work with women, young ladies, to live the life that they are called to be. So, what does that look like?
To me, it looks like, and when I say call to it, like I find myself whether in church
Uh
or
huh.
whether in more business kind of marketplace
Right.
things that I'm working on, it always comes back to the same thing. I know my story as a woman, feeling like I didn't matter, feeling like I didn't have a voice, struggling with identity issues.
Okay.
Um, and just not being able to own my experiences and allow it to push me forward. And so I
Hmm.
find myself trying to be there for women again and teenage girls, being what I needed, right? So
Okay.
helping them own their story. Like, look at what you've come through, look at what you've experienced. I say this all the time, it didn't happen to you, it happened for you. Being able to take that and allow it to not keep you stuck, not keep you hiding, not keep you living from a place of insecurity and shame, but owning everything that makes you you. And so that's part of it. And I think then the other part is then finding your voice, like finding what it is you need to be saying, because your experiences have happened uniquely to you and they happen for a reason. And it allows you to then be that light or encouragement or support to somebody else. And so I think I just find why I say both age groups, because for me, it was so much as a teenager, living life out of shame and
Okay.
insecurity. And
Hmm.
when you have that and you don't feel seen and you don't feel heard, you make decisions out of that. You
Right.
make decisions that you can't reverse the consequence from.
Hmm.
Um, you are showing up in life in a way that, again, just is not, and I don't want to go too far down the road, but you are just making decisions in life from a place of your sickness or your I don't want to say it, just that place that you've kind of kept shelter. And I
Right.
think only when we're able to stand fully in who we are we able to then begin to live life the way we were meant to. And so it goes back to me as a teenager, but I see so many women dealing with the
Right.
same thing because we have it as a teenager. And if it's not dealt with, it doesn't go away because we get older. You
Nope.
know, we'll be in our 20s and our 30s and our 40s on up,
Right.
making decisions out of desperation. I like to
Right.
say we like hustle for our worth. You know what I mean? You are constantly trying to prove that you're good enough, constantly trying to
Right.
get people to see you, constantly trying to be included in the right circle of women. I found myself feeling that even in church, you
Right.
know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Even being in ministry. And it's like, well, that circle of preacher, female preachers, I want to be connected to them. And it's like, when you know who you are, you just show up as who you are, and who's
Right.
meant for you is going to be drawn to you. And you, like I said, you don't go through life making those decisions out of insecurity. And it's so major to me, because it's like, it's a major thing. And when that clicks for us, when we get that clarity and that understanding, life begins to change and we
Right.
begin to experience things differently.
I like what you said when you said when you know who you are, you show up as who
Yeah.
you are. And like
Yeah.
you said, so many times, women, us as women,
Yes.
we try to, like you said, try to fit into that circle, or fit
Yes.
into this group.
Yes.
Um, because there is so many things within us. So
Mhm.
if you don't know who you are, you try to identify with something that looks close to
Yes.
resemble, and
Yes.
you lose yourself. And like you
Yes.
said, then that's the first setup for making the wrong
That's
decisions,
right. That's right.
because now you start acting out, or you start making decisions out of a place where you were not designed to be,
There you go.
in a
There
place
you
that's
go.
not beneficial to you.
That's
And
right.
now I feel like, just listening to you, where you're saying you find yourself that one, like driving in the car, you make one
Yeah.
wrong turn,
Yeah.
and you trying to find your way out, and you start making other turns, and now you're more lost
That's right.
than where you were first. And instead of turning around
That's right.
and going back to the spot. So I like when you said, you said teenagers, but then young adults, like young
Yes.
women or women,
Mhm.
because if we don't fix the problem,
Yeah.
we grow up to be adults with the same problems as
Absolutely.
kids, just handling it differently, in a manner
Mhm.
that it always have to go back. You always
Exactly.
have to go back to the beginning. So I love that when you said that, and you was like, I think we lack that, because
Absolutely.
we're not vulnerable with one
Mhm.
another. We
That's
don't
right.
want to. We don't want to share
Mhm.
our stories. We don't want to
Right.
share our hurt.
Right.
We become so guarded in a sense
Mhm.
that you were like, to help them have a better life and be better people. But the only way we can do that is if we let down this guard,
Yeah.
so that we can become better us.
That's right.
I've been saying this, and I'm gonna keep saying, I'm like, just be a better you. I don't care
Yeah.
what, just long as it's a better version of you. And it's because that's what you want, not because
That's
of what
right.
somebody else. Learn you, love you,
Mhm.
mistakes and all. I read it was a quote, and it says, we make mistakes, we're not a mistake.
Yeah. That's good. That's good.
So, with that being said, mistakes happen. As
That's
human
right.
beings, we're going to make mistakes. But it's
Mhm.
the benefit of, oh, I made this mistake. Now let me correct, so that it's not a pattern of us
That's
repeating.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But when do we take the time, especially if say we go through our
Yep.
teenage years
Okay.
and that happens, then as women, again, what I found for me and the
Hmm.
women I was talking to and meeting, like, we know how to go through the motions. We know how to stretch ourselves thin. We know how to stay
Hmm.
busy. We always have
Right.
something going on. And so when do we get off of that cycle of constantly doing, constantly showing up the way people expect for us to show up, and never really taking the time to know who we are, and or to learn more about ourselves? And I think that's when I've really started, like, just holding on to that word dare. Like, when I looked up the word dare, and that's a part of the name of my business. Dare simply means to have sufficient courage, right? And I think we go through life with all this insecurity, but we are trying to be what we think is acceptable to people. We are trying sometimes to fit in the mold, especially if you are a woman of faith. Like, for me, being in
Hmm.
ministry with my husband, I told you, like, I'm a daughter of God. My faith is paramount to me. But I'm like, I'm not gonna look like every other first lady. Like that's
Right.
just not who I am. I'm not maybe your traditional church girl, so to speak. And it's like when we come with all of those pressures, then we end up suppressing a part of ourselves. And
Mm-hmm.
if we could learn, I think the amazing thing is the unique things that's happened to you, your unique experience, your unique upbringing, your
Mm-hmm.
personality, your charisma, your
Right.
tendencies make your ministry and your calling and the way you'll speak to anybody you'll speak to special to you.
Right.
And same for me. My whether I'm rough around the edges, whether
Right.
I'm not the traditional church girl, my experience, how I was raised, my siblings, everything that hurt me, everything that was celebrated about me, it all makes me me. And
Right.
it shapes the way I show up now. And so my thing is always like challenging girls and women to like just have the courage to be who you are.
Right.
And you can only do that by fully standing in your story and not allowing your past mistakes or whatever it might be to keep you quiet, to keep you shrinking. Like that was my life. I shrunk,
Mm-hmm.
I hid out, I didn't use my voice, I didn't value what I had to say, so nobody else did. And I think finally getting to a point where I begin that process of owning all of me and loving myself and seeing myself the way I feel like God sees me. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, this is who I am. And I may not be for everybody and I may not be invited everywhere. And that's okay. Like,
Right.
I'm really
Okay with that.
learning to be, that's right, like very comfortable with myself. And also knowing like, that my worth does not come from what I do. And I think
Right.
we do that. Like I went through all of those stages, for that person that's married or not married, whether you have children or you don't have children, whether you have this job or you don't have this job, like we tend to draw our worth. And I think I used to challenge women. That's why I said I'm not good introducing myself because I love my husband. I love being a mom, but I don't want to also just be known as a wife and a mom. And I hope
Mother.
that doesn't
Right.
sound too crazy. And
No.
I used to
Mm-hmm.
challenge women like, I don't know if I want that to be the first thing I say.
I said
You know
right.
what I mean? And it's not a slack to anybody, but it makes it more about the role. And so my worth is tied in. Oh, I'm a wife, so I'm more special. Oh, I'm in ministry, so I'm
No.
no. Like my worth is in who I am, who God created me to be before I was a wife, before I was a mom, before I had any title. I was worth something. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the little girl that I want to show up
Right.
every day and kind of stand in that. So like just have the courage to be who you are. All your
Right.
quirks, all the things that make you you, show up as her because
Right.
that's who the world needs.
You're right. I love what you were saying. Like the wife, the mother, the daughter, all of that is just extensions of who I am. That's
That's
not
right.
who I am. So
Right.
I don't, like you said, you identify with who I am.
Yes.
All the other stuff, I don't run to people and be like, oh, I'm a minister, I'm this, I'm that.
Right. Right.
I'm okay with sitting in the back of the church,
Same.
not be like I'm okay. You want me to
Me
hand out a
too.
bulletin? I'll hand you out a bulletin. Like
That's
I'm
right.
okay. Like and like you said, this being a part of like circles and God, like no, like I feel like you said, I'm not the traditional. People look at me and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm okay. No, thank you. You
That's
plan to
right.
do it,
That's right.
whatever. I'll do what I gotta do. But you okay? Like I'm good. I'm right here. Let me
That's
talk to
it.
these people. Let me just sit over here.
That's it.
Um, but you were saying, dare, courage, and I feel, um, many times we lack the courage to want to get to know us
Yes. Yes.
because that takes some really soul searching deep.
Absolutely.
Um, I talk about all the time to people that I encounter, especially women, about my mirror exercise.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell them for a while, most women, we have mirrors all over the house.
Yes.
We have mirrors in the living room, bathroom, whatever.
Absolutely.
9 times out of 10, we only look in the mirror for a few minutes. That's to
Mm-hmm.
make sure our hair is okay.
Yeah.
Our clothes is on right, and then we're out the door.
That's right.
But I started challenging people. Go and stand in front of that mirror
Yeah.
and examine yourself fully
Mhm.
and begin to look at you.
Mhm.
You can have a scar, like look at you fully.
That's right. That's right.
And as you begin to look at yourself fully, you begin to see you
That's right.
for who you are.
Mhm.
Not for
Mhm.
who people tell you are,
That's right.
not for what people try to make you into be. And
Right.
then start loving that person. Like I
Right.
tell them, you love the rose, love the gray
Mhm.
hair,
That's it.
love the
That's it.
wrinkles, the
That's it.
blemishes. Love it
Mhm.
because that's what makes you unique.
Absolutely.
That's what I don't care how much people say, oh, you look like your mother, you look like your father. At the end of the day, you look like you're you.
Yes. Yes.
So you may resemble somebody, but you're still the best version of you. And you
That's
have
right.
to, once you begin to see that person, then I think that you begin to love that person. But it takes
Absolutely.
courage
Mhm.
because you might have to work through some layers
That's right.
of some, like you said before, like some past things. You may
Yeah.
have to work through some layers. Like, um, you said you've been married 30 years.
Mhm.
That's layers of some things. Getting to
Absolutely.
know yourself, getting to know yourself as a wife, as a
Right.
mother,
Right.
in ministry, as a like it's layers that I'm pretty sure you have to look at yourself, okay, who am I now? And I say,
Mhm.
because we're always evolving, we're always changing.
That's right. That's right.
Um I say I'm 43, so I say to myself, wow, I find myself saying, I wish I would have met this person 20 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I look at who I was like 20 years ago, even 30 years ago, and I'm like, wow.
You see all the
I,
growth.
I see the growth, but and I also see like I really wasn't loving me
That's
like
right.
I do now.
That's right.
You said, and loving this person means, like you said, to dare, to take courage in some avenues and some things to make me better person.
That's right.
And so when I just think about like got your book, your little
Uh-huh.
your journey,
Yes.
28 days of dare, and I like
Yes.
how each thing is something for you to
Yes.
grasp upon
Mhm.
to help you on this journey, to help you listen. Today we're gonna dare to do this,
Yes. Yeah.
and you encourage them. So many times we have a list of things to do,
Yes.
and we try to do them all. But what I like about this is each day it's a different dare.
Yeah.
So focus on this one thing. Let that be
That's
your
it.
focus
Mhm.
and work on that. And
Right.
although it says 28 days, it could take you longer than 28 days because
Absolutely.
it may take you, you may be on day one.
For a week or so. That's real. That's real. Yep.
Because it's a challenge. Like
That's right.
it
That's
challenged you to
right.
change, it challenged you to think, it challenged you to reflect.
Mhm.
So they, like you said, a week, you may be like, I'm still, listen, I gotta
Right.
stay right here on this one because
Exactly.
I deal with. So let's talk about this book. Let's talk about what made you write Dare to Be a, guys, go get the book. Um let's talk about it. What made you write it?
I I think because I think it's so much more practical than we make it sometimes, right?
Okay.
I think it is about us doing those small things. And for me, you talked about the mirror exercise, and I love that. And it could seem like a small practice, but
Mm-hmm.
I think it has big results because we are I'm gonna get to the book, but it's very easy for us to get our worth and validation from somebody else.
Right.
Like we're always looking to, again, I go back to those relationships. Well, if I'm selected, if I'm good enough to be in this relationship, or if this group of people invites me in, then I feel worthy, or then I feel like I love myself more. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that we get there maybe eventually, but spend enough time like being okay with your own company. And what I always tell my story is like, yeah, I've been married 31 years. I met my husband as a teenager. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think I have, wouldn't change anything about being a young mom or anything like
Right.
that. I'm so blessed to have my family. But I think I was spending so many years of my 20s and my 30s, like knowing how to be a mom, knowing how to be a wife, but not knowing how to be me.
Right.
And I think it was only after I got older, and so my story was just reversed. Like I was a teenager when I met my husband, so I'm focused on a relationship, and I really don't even know myself.
Right.
And like you said, I'm not who I was 30 years ago. I'm not who I
Right.
was 10 years ago.
Right.
I've changed. I'm constantly changing. I'm constantly growing. So I said that to say, I think with the book, it was very similar because I'm like, I'm a person like I love coaches. I'll get
Mm-hmm.
a fitness coach, a money coach, a life
Right.
coach, whatever I need at whatever season in my life. But then there are small practical things that we can do every day to show up for ourselves. And maybe you just need to give yourself permission to rest today. Maybe you need to give yourself permission to be still and hear what you need to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you need to, dare yourself to have the courage to just show up at work or have that hard conversation. And for me, it was a series of those small changes, those
Right.
small little things that I could adjust in my life. Like if I was always shrinking, shying away, well, today I just need to be bold. I
Right.
just need to use my voice, walk into work and say what I need to say, or I need to come home and say what I need to say. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't need a coach or a therapist necessarily to tell me that. It was the small things that exist for all of us free.
Right.
Like
Uh-huh.
just do them. Like just do them though. Like you can read
Right.
about it, we can journal about it, we can talk about it. But if you never use your voice, you'll always be quiet. If you never
Right.
show up and be bold, you'll always be like operating in fear. And so it's like, do those the thing. The challenge was like, I got 28 very simple things for you to do. And if
Right.
you do them every day, like you said, maybe you'll stay on one for a week, or maybe you'll read it and repeat it and do
Right.
another round of 28 days to keep building. And for me, it was just that. Like I had to constantly keep building myself up. Well, I'm afraid to talk, so then I gotta talk. So the
Right.
fact that God will have me speaking to people, speaking in front of congregations or groups of people, or having a podcast or speaking at church, it's crazy to me. Because when I tell you I didn't talk, I did not talk. You know what I mean? I was the one that, as a teenager, wanted to give a testimony and would cry all the way through it because I was so afraid.
Right.
And it's like he has given me my voice. He
Mm-hmm.
has shown me that my voice is needed, and I know that I have something to say. And the other part of it, while we have to, I say this all the time, like no pressure to any of your audience that will listen to this, but like it matters for me to use my voice, but somebody's life is dependent on what me and you have to say.
Right.
There is somebody that specifically called to your voice,
Right.
Miss Phoenix. Like they're gonna be changed, healed, or delivered because you said what you needed to say. And the weight and responsibility of that, I don't do it out of an obligation, but it's responsibility.
Right.
Like because somebody spoke into me, my life changed. I was delivered, I was healed. And I don't want to hold back when somebody that I'm supposed to speak to, minister to, shine my light on
Right.
is waiting and may go a different way because I held back and I made it all about me. And so I've been on this journey of like, it is not about you, Rhonda. Like get over yourself, get out of your own way, stop lying to yourself, stop
Right.
believing the lies you lived all those years, and like just show up fully as yourself,
Right.
shine, be bright, don't shrink, all of that. And
Right.
that's like where I'm living right now.
Right. So you hit the nail on the head. Like, and I laugh because I go back to um I'm born and raised in church, and
Yeah.
I go back and I remember, like, when I tell people I don't like to speak out in public, I'd rather be behind whatever.
Got it.
But they was like, you do so much. You really don't like yeah, I'd rather not be talking.
Uh-huh.
I'd rather pull you to the side and have a whole conversation
Yes.
on the side than to
Yes.
be in
I
the
understand that.
so I laugh because I go back to a place where when I was little, you know, you do Easter speeches, right?
Yes.
So in the house, you couldn't tell me nothing. I stood in the mirror.
Uh-huh.
I went in my mother's room. Anybody that came to the house, I stood
You was
up
practicing.
and was practicing and I was ready. Come that Sunday, standing there with the rest of the kids,
Yes.
they passed me that mic. I didn't open my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I cried. I hollered.
I believe it.
And my mother said, you've been saying this speech for weeks.
Right. Right.
My mother said, you said the speech so much, everybody knows it.
Exactly.
And I was just like, no, now I gotta shine. Like,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
okay in those places, but now
Exactly.
even the little stuff, like you said, somebody's mouth, your voice, like somebody is waiting for you to just say your story,
Exactly.
your testimony, whatever,
Right.
and your silence is gonna be their downfall because you're gonna
Yeah.
open your mouth.
Yeah.
And so I have to say to myself too, come on, girl, get out your way.
Right. Right.
This is a bigger picture.
That's right.
So
That's right.
so what I like I said, I love the journal. I love the dare because
Mm-hmm.
you challenge so many people on so many different areas where
Mm-hmm.
normally they wouldn't.
Yeah.
And it becomes a journey where, like you said, you can go back and again and be like, I see where I'm at now,
Mm-hmm.
and go back and look and be like, oh, that's how I got here.
That's right. That's right.
That's how I got. So let me tell you my guide of how I got to where I'm at now.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, you was talking about your life and your journey, and I was like, and I was thinking about that too. I was like, yeah, for a good about 20 something years of my life, I was mom and all of this stuff, and I didn't know me, you
Yes.
know. I was so focused on those aspects that I really
Absolutely.
didn't really know me. And as I got older
Mm-hmm.
and began to change, I began to say, hey, and find out stuff about me.
That's
Like,
right.
that's why, like, you know, you meet people and they be like, you changed.
Yes. And change. I keep going. Change is growth. That's a good thing. Yep.
Yes,
I'm different.
I'm different. Yeah.
Yep.
And you know, I used to get offended
Mm-hmm.
when people say, oh, you changed. You're not the same.
I got you.
Because I used to be like, yes, I am. I'm the same person.
Mm-hmm.
But then as I began to reflect, you're right. I'm not.
That's right.
I wasn't supposed to remain the same.
That's right, sis.
We're
That's right.
supposed to evolve. So, like you said, when about this is about evolving. It's about
Yeah.
growing. It's about
Yes.
you developing, like
Yeah.
taking full courage.
Yes.
Um, in your book, you had talked about when you first wrote it, you had left work
Mm-hmm.
and you
Yes.
took a chance out to leaving work and pursuing business wise.
Yes.
So with that now, are you still not working? Are you back to work? What's going on?
So yeah, I had an amazing opportunity when I first wrote this book. I had left a job that I was working at, very good paying job.
Right.
Um, didn't really have another job, but I felt completely led to pour myself into building the business, the vision that God had given me for
Okay.
Dare to Be. So I stepped away from a career in education. And I was completely away from it in full time, like as far as being a full time school business administrator
Hmm.
for some time. I had a couple districts bring me in as a consultant here and there. And then I think maybe a few years into it, I worked part-time, which was still good because it gave me a chance to still do what I was trained to do, but still fully work on
Mm-hmm.
the business. So right now, I made a decision last year to go back to education,
Okay.
but with a different mindset, right? So I'm so
Right.
grateful for my job. And I said, I will take nothing for the 3 years that I was able to fully like work on my business.
Mm-hmm.
But I go back with a different hunger now. And I know I
Okay.
won't be here for a long time
Uh-huh.
because I know God is still completing what He started in me. But I'm also understanding how the impact that I was trying to make with young girls and with women can happen at the same time, but I needed that window of time to not be distracted,
Okay.
and have that full pressure of 9 to 5, getting up every day, showing up at a job. I know women are doing it every day, and I salute them, but I needed that time, and
Mm-hmm.
so I go. Those 3 years were invaluable. To First of all, I'm the girl who like at 13 changed the birth certificate so she could work a year earlier. So I've always been working. I
Uh-huh.
have very strong work ethics, and so it was even unlike me to step away from a job because I'm
Wow.
always the responsible one. I always have to it has to make sense on paper, but I felt so compelled to step away, and so to switch to a lifestyle that was I always got up early, but I'm not rushing to anyone's job. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
wake up, I'm gonna read, I'm gonna pray, and I'm gonna go for a walk in the park first. Then I'm
Right.
gonna come back and get on the computer. Like it was a totally different pace of life
Okay.
that I wouldn't. It like I said, it was invaluable. It was just such an amazing opportunity for me to slow my life down and
Okay.
kind of get clarity, and plug in. And I struggle a little bit when I applied for this job to kind of go back full time. I struggled because I didn't want to lose momentum of what I started.
Okay.
But I understand the seasons and the way, God flows to us. And so I
Mm-hmm.
accepted like it was a little bit of a pivot for me,
Okay.
but not letting go of anything I was doing, just doing it a little differently.
Okay. That's good. We're going to pause right there and we're going to take a minute for a commercial break. And we will be back with more with Rhonda Curry and Dare to Be in her podcast. So don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
Turning 50 also got me very excited about celebrating 50 women over 50. And I am doing that through a photography project, looking forward to providing for 50 women an unforgettable photography experience. Look, we're going to help you with pre-consultation. We're going to help you find the right pieces and decide on the right image and style for your session. We have some beautiful studios that we're going to be selecting from. Once your session, your session is going to be custom and catered to you. I have some treats that I'm going to be providing for you that I can't really talk about. But once your session is done and the image is already, we're going to have a personalized kind of viewing session just for you to look at your images. We'll select one of your favorite ones that we're going to be using for the exhibition at the end, but also you'll have that option to purchase additional prints or digital images if you're interested. There's no pressure. We're also going to be getting some video highlights of you and your story, a little bit about your story, your journey, maybe a message you want to share to some younger women or some other 50 plus women, whatever it might be. There's so many other special treats in that, but when it's all said and done, when all 50 women have been captured, and I'm looking to do this once the weather is warmer, so summer, late summer, early fall of this year, there is going to be a gallery style type of exhibition, where we are going to have music, we're going to have guests, your picture is going to be on display. We're going to be hearing about you, your story, your journey. You're going to get dressed up and bring a guest of your choice with you. But this is going to be a limited event for a limited amount of people. particularly those of you that have participated in the 50 over 50 project. I am so excited about it. Make sure you message me, email me, let me know so that we can reserve a spot for you. You will not regret it. I promise you this will be a once in a lifetime experience, and I look forward to capturing your beauty and just celebrating your greatness. All right, let's do this.
All right, everybody, we're back with more with Rhonda Curry. She has given us so many nuggets, talked about her book, Dare to Be. Guys, please go get it. It's a 28-day Dare journal. But also let's just talk about what Dare to Be is. It's more than just this book.
Yes. So Dare to Be exists for the primary purpose to create safe spaces for women to learn, to
Okay.
heal, and to grow.
Okay.
And we do that in so many ways. And so I told you so much of what I'm about is like helping women know that they are enough, that their voice and their story matters. And I think when we begin to understand that, and then we
Right.
provide spaces for women
Right.
to unpack that, like what does knowing my voice matters even look like? What does
Mm-hmm.
owning my story even look like? What does my healing even look like?
Right.
And so sometimes we can know we need something, but where is my community of people that's gonna rally around me to help me get there?
Get
And so
it.
I
Right.
think what we try to do with Dare to Be, whether it's our social media page, whether it's through the podcast, whether it's through workshops that we do, Instagram Live, whatever it is, we are always trying to help women learn, heal, and grow in some way,
Okay.
to show up, to live the life, like I say, that they were created to live. And it takes on so many different, um, it manifests, I guess, in so many
Right.
different ways, but that's primarily what we are about.
Okay. And then you mentioned you have a podcast.
Yes.
So what's that about?
So the podcast, again, an extension of Dare to Be. I am a cheerleader of women, right?
Okay.
I am supporting women that are living their life, trying to live their life. So I love hearing the stories. And so we use the podcast to, a lot of times it's women that are balancing career and entrepreneurship in some
Okay.
way. But where they come and they share their journey, I've only had to this point, and I haven't said this exclusively, I'm gonna say it now, but I pretty much focus on women of color,
Okay.
um, having them at the table and just share, like, how did they get to where they are, their
Right.
journey. And I love hearing how unique it is for everybody. There are women
Right.
that are full-time entrepreneurs and do a little part-time job for a little consistent money. It's
Mm-hmm.
women that are full-time entrepreneurs. It's so many different mixes. It's 50
Right.
50. And so I love hearing that. I love how women have pivoted from one career to something totally different as
Right.
they discover themselves. And so as much as I love hearing about their businesses and the unique things they're doing, I love hearing about their journey and their story and how they got
Right.
there. And so I do a mix of interviews and kind of solo cast. I've done a little bit of solo cast, which I'm planning to do more of starting next month.
Mm-hmm.
Making a few changes with the podcast where I'm intentionally adding some sessions where I'm just kind of sharing on some things as well as
Okay.
bringing guests in. So,
Okay.
and I'm sorry, and I started that like in the middle of the pandemic. I
Mm-hmm.
talked about it since 2017, was so afraid to start it. I had
Right.
all different kinds of equipment and wouldn't do anything. 3 different mics, no podcast. And finally, in the pandemic, we were home, and it was like, I think I started with like voice memos on my phone. Like I'm just gonna start it, and it'll get better from here.
Right.
And like I said, the women that have subscribed or that listen tell me it's making a difference for them. And
Okay.
so I'm like, I'm just gonna keep doing it until I'm not supposed to do it anymore.
Right. I believe, listen, if you can just reach one person, you
That's
have
it.
done what you're supposed to do.
That's
I'm
it.
laughing because um I wrote a book, and
Hmm.
just different things, and like you were just saying, even with this, I was fearful. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. No, I'm not gonna do it.
Right.
Oh, no, we're not gonna launch
Right.
it. No, I'm not gonna do it. So even like that fear of like stepping out of the box and doing something
Mhm.
different. So I love how you're giving platforms to women of color because we really um don't have that space where we can
Yeah.
come and share our stories. And like you
Yeah.
said, your voice.
Mhm.
Because your story, everybody's journey is not the same. Everybody
Absolutely.
take different routes, and you'll never know the person that's going to hear it that may be at the
Mhm.
place of where you're at,
That's right.
that needs to hear the story. And so
Yeah.
I'm just so grateful that you even though it was a plan, you
Yeah.
executed it, and you was like, listen, now is now. However I'm going to do it, I'm going to get out there. So
Absolutely.
I love that. I love the
Right.
fact of how it all comes together.
Yes.
So many times you have people doing multiple different things and it don't intertwine together. But
Yeah.
like you said, it just so it's from one step to another. However we're here. If you need the group of women to come together to rally
Yes.
around you, if you need to come and tell your story. But then you said that now, because you got a lot of hats. So now you're talking about I got a podcast, I got a group, support group, all this other stuff. But then I got some film, the cameras. So now I'm back here. So now you're capturing it all on film. Now let's do photo shoots. Like, how did that come about?
So I think the same. So this is what I mean. Like so many times, like I thought for a long time, like I said, I must sound crazy with the diverse things that I'm talking about. But to me, I see the line. Like I see the
Right.
connection. And so even with the photography, I'm like, what we do as women is we show up for everybody. We're everything to them that they need us to be. And we're living life going like there must be more. So I was working that full-time job with that good check,
Mm-hmm.
but going, I'm not happy. I'm not fulfilled. So what brings you joy? What do you feel connected to your purpose when you're doing? When I'm talking to women, when I'm talking to teenage girls, when I'm taking pictures. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, so then why am I not taking pictures more? Why am I not leaning into
Right.
photography? And so that was something that was a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
And I have since said, like, this brings me so much joy. I need to do it more. And so
Right.
when I put myself out there, then people wanted me to take pictures of them. People were willing to pay me to take
Mm-hmm.
pictures of them. And I that's a good day for me. When I can wake
Yes.
up and take I mean, I'm always taking pictures with my phone, but when I can take my DSLR out, my camera, and play with lenses and play with lighting and help. And again, that has become like I
Right.
love when it's women. I love
Uh-huh.
seeing women feel good about their pictures, feel good about themselves, or if they need something for their business, kind of a brand image. Like I like being that person again because I like celebrating women and their stories. And so it is
Mm-hmm.
just, I mean, I love taking pictures of my husband, my family as well, but it has just become an extension of this makes sense because I've made a decision that I specifically want to work with women and women entrepreneurs,
Right.
and kind of help them get images that they need. I'm that awkward girl in front of a camera. Like I love taking pictures, but don't ask me to pose. I'm like, I'd rather you take a candid. But I love that when I take pictures that I've had people say, wow, you make me feel comfortable. And I've been awkward or so I know what that
Yeah.
feels like. And so
I
I
was gonna
think
say that.
my
Yeah.
personality helps them to feel a little more comfortable. And I just love it. I love it.
And what I love about that, I love what you said because I was going to say that the transformation that happens in front of a camera,
Yeah.
especially when you're comfortable with whoever's taking your picture, it's just
Yes.
like you transform into somebody else, and and then to see it
Absolutely.
captured on film, it's just like
It's
a
a
whole
beautiful
different,
thing.
yeah.
Yes.
So that is awesome. And you don't sound crazy. Let me tell you something. It's just so many gifts inside of you
Yes.
that I'm just so glad that the world's able to see it. And I'm so
Oh,
glad
thank
that
you.
you're using it to uplift so many other women. And they have a place to come. They have
Absolutely.
a roadmap. They have, listen, in that circle, you may be not feeling the best about yourself. Get you behind the camera. Let me take some pictures and show you
That's
just
right.
how
That's
beautiful you
right.
are. Let me put you on a podcast to tell your story.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
I just encourage you just to just keep up everything you
Thank you.
doing.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
I look forward to just watching your journey even more.
Thank you so
I
much.
can't wait. See you on TV.
Ah,
I I I
I
can't
receive
wait.
it. I receive it.
I can't wait to come to seminars and see you with some places
Yes,
where you just continue to just encourage and uplift women because we need that.
absolutely.
Again, guys, if you do not have this book, I'm telling you, this is something to help you to become a better you, to get you out of your comfort zone, your box, and help you develop the woman that you are meant to be.
Yes, yes.
Not even just women. Let me go back,
You're right.
okay? Because I do have some male viewers. This is just not a woman's book.
Mhm.
This is a person's book.
Yeah, yeah.
Anybody. So many times we may mention women a lot, but men, listen, become a better you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You, it's some areas where your voice needs to be heard. You need to come out and be healed out of some things like we talk about, and we do focus on women, but we focus on men too. Listen, it's you can find it in this
Yes.
28-day Dear Journal. Like,
Mhm.
take the courage, become a better you. Rhonda, thank you so much. It's
Thank you.
always a pleasure to be able to talk with you, for coming on the show, to taking out time.
Thank
I am
you.
going to step back and I'm going to give you the floor. And I want you just to tell our guests, our viewers, how they can find you, how they can watch your journey, how they can, if they need pictures taken, like
Yes.
anything, like, and then give them some words, whatever on your heart that you want to impart in our guests. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I would say that the easiest way to find me is on Instagram right now because you'll see my email address. I think my phone number is up there. And it's Rhonda, RHONDA underscore my middle name, which is Nicole, but it's NAICOLE. And from there you'll see the Dare to Be page, the photography page. It's all linked, so that's that. There's a way for you. You can DM me if you want to know more about what we're doing or how we can work together. But if you're listening, I think what I would say is if you are living your life and you have this nudging feeling that there must be more to my life than this, like I am going through routine, I'm going through this cycle day after day, month after month, it's the same thing. I'm not fulfilled, and I know that there is more to my life, then I want to encourage you to know that it absolutely is. And it is a matter of us getting out of our own way. It's a matter of us stopping those lies that we've been telling ourselves. Like we are going through life. So many times we can get comfortable with going through life, kind of living on the sidelines of our own lives. And it's like, it is time now for you to take control, to stand in the truth and the fullness of who you are and begin to show up. And it starts with small little steps every day, showing up, having the courage to be who you are, to know yourself, to know your worth and your value and your story. And I just want to encourage you to do that. And whatever that, if that means getting yourself aligned with the right group of people, if that means starting that business, if it's starting that podcast, if it's beginning to get healing or therapy or showing up in a church, whatever it is, do not allow your life to be wasted. There is more to your life than what you've been experiencing. And the time is now to start living and to start showing up for yourself. You are worth it. You are worth it. And most importantly, somebody needs what you have. Somebody needs to hear what you have to say, and they need the gifts that you've been holding on to. So it's time for us to start living. Like we don't get this time over. And so just begin to show up for yourself. I think that will be my closing words to whoever's listening.
Guys, there you have it. Her words. The time is now to show up and start living. When you know who you are, you show up as who
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, get the book, follow the journey, follow her on social media, watch the podcasts. I guarantee it will aid you and help you to become a better version of you. We thank you so much for
Thank
coming.
you so
Thank
much
you
for
for
having
so
me.
much for being my guest. Thank you for your words
Thank
um,
you.
that you imparted into us. Guys, listen, like, share, subscribe. We are here every Wednesday at 7 p.m., encouraging, inspiring, a place where you can tell your story,
Yes.
all to help you become a better version of you. Listen, it's not about us, it's about you becoming a better version of you in whichever
Yes.
areas we can help. So, listen, guys, don't forget again, tell somebody that we're here,
Yes.
share the podcast, share the story, and let it be not only beneficial to you, but to somebody else. To my guests, thank you. Guys,
Thank
we look
you.
forward to seeing you again with On the Rise with Miss Phoenix. Have a good night.
Good night.